Alysa Liu. When she stepped onto the ice, it felt like she was just playing, that the Olympics was just a plaything to her, while everyone else was very tense. She felt like she was completely free. Most people say she won because she was just having fun, but that is partially true. It's way deeper than just having fun. She was not skating like she was trying to prove that she deserved a gold medal, but she was skating because she loved the craft, and that difference changes everything. I call these two mindsets the proof mode and the love mode. The proof mode is you performing because you're trying to prove something, while the love mode is you performing because you love the craft itself. Basically, like the essence of those two mindsets is where your identity is located. So by the end of that video, you will start embodying that same mindset that Alysa made, because once you make that shift is when something interesting happens. You will stop feeling like every result is a test of your worth, and you will start loving what you're doing again and enjoying it. And ironically, the things that you once chased, which are success, praise, or winning, will start feeling like a bonus to you, not a defining factor. And that is what we're aiming for. But first, there's a misunderstanding about what happened with Alysa. People think that the reason for her success is because she was having fun. She was not trying to compete and win. But there's a difference, because someone can still be competitive and have fun whilst doing the activity and want to win. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to win, but they're not obsessing over the results. So that is the key distinction. It's where your identity is located. Is it located in the outcome? Does winning prove something to you about yourself, or is it located in the activity itself, the process itself? Outcome attached identity is what I call proof mode, and it is very dangerous, because if your identity is tied to the results, then your confidence and your self-worth becomes very shaky. If you lose, then you're not good enough, and if you win, then you're valuable. And losing, being told no, becomes the worst thing ever. And if every successful person you've read about operated from that mode, from the proof mode, then they would have probably never become successful. Take for example J.K. Rowling, the writer of Harry Potter. She was told no, she got rejected 12 times. So if she operated from the proof mode, her ego would have gotten so hurt that she would have probably given up. And operating from the proof mode also leads to burnout and giving up on your dreams. So take Alysa Liu for example again. When she was skating at 16 at the last Olympics, once she lost, she gave up skating altogether from burnout. She was so attached to winning that once she lost, her entire identity got shaken, till she made her comeback and came back with a whole new perspective. But this time she actually won. She won because she was doing what she loved. She found love in skating again and in the activity. Her identity was no longer attached to the winning, to the gold medal. The gold medal for her was just a bonus. It was just a byproduct of doing what she loved. And her identity now is so stable that her ego is not trying to protect her from failure again. And that is the big difference. It's not fun versus seriousness. No, it's where your identity is anchored. So is it anchored in the process itself, or is it anchored in the gold medal? And that's what we all want to do. We want to start operating from the love mode, where winning is just a bonus for you. It's not a defining factor. Also, people who operate from the love mode, they still care about the results, but they perceive it way differently than everyone else. They treat it as pure data. So if they fail at something, then something they're doing is wrong. They learn from their mistakes and they improve themselves. And winning is just proof that what they're doing is right and they should continue doing it. So how do you actually know when you're in the proof mode? Because sometimes we be in denial. So if you're actually worried about failure and what other people would be thinking about you, then yes, you're operating from the proof mode. But if your thoughts sound more like, how can I execute this well? And let's see how well I can do this, then you're operating from the love mode. And also, when you're in proof mode, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice, because when you're so obsessed over the results, your mind is trying to focus on the task itself, and it's also trying to protect your identity and your ego from getting hurt. So it's juggling between those two things, and that's where overthinking, pressure, and tension comes in. Whereas in love mode, your identity is not on the line. You're actually enjoying what you're doing, you're enjoying the activity and the process, and that's when what psychologists call the flow state comes in. Flow state is that mental state where you're so immersed in what you're doing and everything feels automatic, like so effortless, and all your energy is put into the task. That's when your attention is finally free to actually focus on what matters, which is the performance itself, the activity, the process, and you can only enter it once you operate from the love mode. And also, that's when you'll actually find enjoyment in the activity. That's when you'll start having fun. So that is all theoretical talk. It's easier said than done, and we all know that the love mode is way much better than the proof mode, but sometimes it becomes impossible once the pressure comes in. So how can we switch from the proof mode to love mode? So here's your simple 10-second reset, the actionable part of that video that you can start ingraining in your mind when you start feeling the pressure. So whenever you catch yourself obsessing over the results, I want you to pause and ask yourself those 3 questions. So what result am I chasing right now? Who am I trying to prove this to? And what am I trying to prove? And what do I actually love about this? So 4 questions. So those questions will help you stay conscious and move your identity back into the process. But again, it's way easier said than done. So it's all a matter of repetition. Once you catch yourself obsessing over the results, I want you to keep repeating those questions to yourself to the point that it becomes automatic. And on top of that, to reinforce your focus back on the activity, I want you to choose one thing to focus on for the next few minutes. So if you're playing a sport, I want you to focus on your technique or your form. If you're studying, focus on understanding the concept clearly instead of worrying about your grades. And if you're presenting something at work, I want you to focus on delivering your message clearly instead of trying to impress anyone. And if you're creating content, I want you to focus on telling a good story and delivering the concept well instead of worrying about the grades. So what I'm trying to do here is just lay out a few examples, because the 10-second reset, it applies to everything you do in life, not just in sports. We want to stop worrying about what the future holds, and we want to bring your attention back to the present moment. And that's how you move your identity from the results or the outcome back into the process. So we want to tie everything back to Alysa Liu, because it wasn't just about her having fun. It's where her identity was located. She was no longer skating to prove something, but she was skating because she loved the game. And that's when the pressure dropped her attention focused, and that's when she entered the flow state. And that is the love mode. Because again, when identity depends on winning, it becomes very hard to love what you do. But when it lives in the process is when you will start loving what you do, and that's when the activity feels like freedom to you. And I hope you found some value in this video, and also this video is a promise to myself to start operating from the love mode and to start incorporating the 10-second reset when life feels stressful. Because life can become very stressful sometimes, and it's also very hard if you came out of the womb and you've always been operating from the proof mode. And if you also enjoyed that video, I want you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.